special welcome to celebrity blogger extraordinaire, Perez Hilton. He's joining us today while Mrs. O is away. We have a lot to talk about. Breaking news.
I know you guys breaking news, but that really looks nice on you. I'm sorry, I didn't see you back.
Can we get a close-up?
Nice.
Thank you, Cheryl. Breaking news in the Justin Bieber paternity battle. Listen to this. Just minutes ago, the celebrity website Radar Online reported that Bieber is still the target of a paternity probe. This, despite reports from TMZ.com, which said his accuser has dropped the case, in part because her attorneys dropped her as a client. Mariah Yater claimed that the teenage superstar hooked up with her after a concert last year and she became pregnant. Yater was 19 at the time, Bieber just 16. What's your reaction to this case?
Ooh,
the developments.
This gets me heated. First of all, this girl gives Mariah a bad name. She does.
Why, you think she's a liar?
I definitely think she's a liar. And, you know, she got dropped by her lawyers, but she already has new lawyers that have taken on the case and are going to be moving forward. Let me break it down for you. I know a thing or two about lawsuits. I may have been involved in a few myself. And from the moment I first heard about this story, it seemed apparent to me it was all about money. In fact, her previous lawyers that dropped her had said last week or the week before that they were hoping to settle out of court. But when Justin Bieber and his legal team made it clear they had no intention of settling out of court and were going to move forward with a lawsuit, that's when they dropped her. And the reason they were hoping to settle out of court is for money. Get a nice big paycheck. That former lawsuit might have been, the lawyers may have been representing her for free in exchange for a percentage.
With the logic being that you're a big star, you want this headache to go away,
Exactly.
whether or not you're guilty or innocent.
Sometimes it's cheaper to settle out of court than to fight a lawsuit, even if you're right.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point. A lot of times, you have to defend yourself, and that's so expensive. And then also, even if he doesn't have any dirty laundry, just the months of it being talked about in the press, you just want to get it over with. But clearly, they're confident that he has nothing to hide.
And I think the fact that they dropped it means I really still maintain, like I said before, that he is not the father. And in your face, Chen.
Hold on, Gilbert. Let me just say this. Is it possible that the power of Justin Bieber and his 50 handlers and his legal team, they can strong-arm a person, whether or not they're making a false claim or a real claim? Isn't it possible? Let's say someone is telling the truth. Can't someone who's telling the truth be scared away by powerful lawyers?
But here's not being scared away. She's still going after it.
Well,
And why would you have a press conference to say, they scared me away? Where's the proof? At least Monica Lewinsky has some proof. Where's the past? I need some proof.
Here's how this is my opinion of how we'll really know. If Justin Bieber's, there's a statement made that he's not the father, then most likely he's not. If it just goes away quietly, then I think he probably is.
Right. Well, when we heard this morning that she had dropped the lawsuit, because this news is all very breaking, I was like, yes, I owe Sarah $5 because I totally believe that he did it. And you know why? I mean, you work in this world. We all want to dismiss what happens in tabloids, but I think lately we're seeing so much of those things are true. I mean, look, we all dismissed the John Edwards thing, right? Everyone's saying, poo-poo, that's a ridiculous story. The day I started believing tabloid stories was when I had dinner with a girlfriend and she told me a very personal story about something that happened to her. And then 3 days later, it was in Star. And so someone that she knew had called them and told them.
Who was it?
I can't tell. But I was shocked. I was just like, oh my God, she just told me this in confidence. And clearly she told somebody else in confidence and they broke that confidence.
And I'm all for reporting the news. That's what I do. But it's a different thing when you start to sensationalize it. Like, report that this girl made these claims about Justin Bieber, but then she's on TV and she's crying. And to me, it's also not just about money, but her wanting to be famous and making up this story to get some shine on for herself.
Right. Even if she is the mom, she wouldn't have to do it in that way.
Yeah.
And it may also be possible that maybe, because there were reports that her ex-boyfriend came out of the woodwork and said, at one point she said, I was the father of that child. Maybe she doesn't know who the father is.
Womp, womp.
I'm just putting it out there. Moving on. New attitude diva Patti Labelle is accused of having a bad attitude. The R&B superstar is being sued for allegedly cursing out and throwing water at a woman and her 18-month-old baby. Now, they got into an argument over parenting in an apartment building lobby, according to the mother's lawyer. The woman claims she left her child by a door for a moment when the singer came up to her and said, quote, "Do you know what your daughter is doing? You shouldn't have left her by the door." The confrontation escalated into profanities, and that's when the mom says Labelle, quote, charged at her and tried to hit her. The mother says her daughter was so scared that she vomited and has since suffered from personality changes and an increased fear of strangers. Labelle's attorney called the lawsuit frivolous and said Labelle has been targeted because simply she's in the public eye. What do you think?
Oh God, this is such a hard topic because I have done this. Well, I have not thrown water or screamed at anybody, but I
made babies vomit.
I have made babies vomit. Yes, but they didn't like my jokes. So I was once in a post office, and a woman had set her baby down in the middle of the room on the floor in a carrier, and she was nowhere to be found. And I stood over that baby and I yelled, "Whose baby is this?" Because apparently it was free baby day at the post office. You know what I mean? Once you get stamps on a baby, you know you can't just. So I could see that kind of indignation where you're like, babies get snatched all the time. You need to pay attention to your child. We don't really know what the tenor of that conversation was because on Patti's side, she could have just been like, you know what, your baby could run out into the street. And then we're like, it ain't none of your business. We don't know what she said, you know. I don't know what she was, Cedric the Entertainer all of a sudden. But, or it could have been that Patti was really antagonistic.
Do the mama again.
It's none of your business. I don't know. We don't
It's
know.
possible.
And if a woman said that, if a woman did that to me, I might throw water at her. You know what I mean? I don't know.
In one way, I'm on the woman's side because I read that it wasn't like she was fighting with her boyfriend and ignoring the kid. She was trying to, I guess, work with a car seat and some luggage. And as a mom of young kids, I'm like, oh my God, I relate to that. And you're trying to keep track of the kids. So I was like, well, why didn't Patti just try to help her then instead of, you know, because it wasn't like a frivolous thing. But then on the other hand, with the lawsuit and saying, I'm like, Patti Labelle traumatized your kid. Like, that's where it gets crazy.
I'm usually a skeptical person, but in both this case and the Bieber one, I'm inclined to believe both of them. This seems to me like somebody's out for money as well. You know, Patti Labelle might be a diva, but she's not gonna assault a woman or throw water on a baby.
Right.
That's crazy. That's
She'll wag the finger, but she will not throw water on a baby.
But you know
it's
what?
Patti Labelle.
And I know Patti personally, and she's very maternal and very giving. All of us know Miss Patti, and we're very close to her. I don't think she was screaming. She probably was singing, because you know that high pitch. You know, she probably said, "Get your baby!" You know how she do that? You know, so that's probably what was happening. You know, because she's just Patti, you know. She would give you the shoes off her feet after she done kicked them off singing, the wig off her head.
Cook for you.
Yeah, she'll cook for you. So I don't really believe this, as you know. And Miss Patti, come on the show and tell us what happened. But I just don't. I'm not sure this happened this way.
Cheryl, do you think that also, like, I really feel like if you are a celebrity, unfortunately, normal behavior is always blown out of proportion. Like, if you're a normal person and you have a bad day at the supermarket and maybe someone's trying to talk to you and you're busy and you accidentally, like, don't respond, not on purpose.
You're
okay,
a bitch.
like if you're a celebrity, oh my God, she ignored me. When maybe I didn't even hear you. Maybe I had my iPhone, like my iPod earbuds.
Yeah.
So that's the thing of like a celebrity behavior that's just like, you know what? I'm eating my dinner right now. I'll take a picture with you after the meal. It's like, that bitch ignored me. She had the nerve to eat spaghetti
I'm
when
gonna
I
tweet
was
her.
there. Yeah, you know?
That's right. And I'm the
it
reason
gets
you the
embellished.
celebrity you are today. They tell you that in your face.
Well, yeah, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't
That's
be on
right.
the talk. Really? Did you make a call?
Serious?
Okay.
But I'm with you because I happen to know Patti as well, and I do think you characterize her very well. She's very nurturing. I do think her intention was watching out for the baby's well-being.
Yes.
And I do think, you know, it escalated, words were exchanged, and then I don't know what happened. But I do think Patti got in that woman's face because she was worried about the baby.
That's right.
That's what I think.
That's
because
right.
That's what I know of her.
That's
We'll be
right.
right back. For tickets to be in our studio audience, visit us on our website, thetalk.com.
What are you doing?